everyone. Lovely and incredibly powerful Nathalie here today. And she's one of the powerhouses that's been working through the medical intuitive course and just graduated last month. She's been a healer for a long time. She's also a mom and she's got some amazing things she's going to share with us today. So it's my pleasure to introduce her and let her share with you a little bit of what she does. Welcome, Nathalie.
Hi, what an introduction, Sky. I'm gonna get you to introduce me to more people. Like, that's amazing. What a welcome. Yeah, I'm Natalie. I'm a theta healer. I'm a medical intuitive, which I'm very, very proud to say. Um, it's been an amazing experience, but been an amazing course. And yeah, so I run my own practice, like I said, like it said in the introduction. So I work with people to overcome the challenges and obstacles in their life to achieve their goals, which is what I've been doing for for many, many years. And a lot of the time, the people that I'm working with are experiencing low self-worth, low self-esteem, are really struggling with beliefs around not being enough, not believing in themselves, not feeling like they're worthy and deserving of the health, wealth, relationships, success, love that they are looking for, and looking at how where that comes from and how that has a ripple effect in their lives. But I asked I asked Spirit the other day. I went for a walk in the woods because I just started was like talking to myself because after this course I just like talk out loud. I'm just like, tell me, like, have these conversations. And I was like, what do I really, with this knowledge and with this course and with it, what do I do? What is my purpose and who do I want to serve? And I got shown this image of somebody walking on this path, and there was this light, like feeling really tired, feeling really exhausted, and this light at the end of the tunnel or at the end of this path. And it was like, we're here to guide them home back to themselves. We're here to guide them. And that's what I found in my own journey of this course, was coming back home to myself, to the love that exists, the healing that exists, the answers that exist. And for those that have been really burdened by illness, tiredness, loneliness, disconnection, whether that's from their whole lives or from something that's happened, and to kind of say, look, let's guide you back to yourself, release the expectations, the judgments, the beliefs, resolve that trauma, and help you kind of regain that energy, regain that strength, regain that health that is rightfully yours, then that's kind of got buried under so much other stuff that you've experienced with. And to do that with love, and to do that with compassion, and what you've taught us here, Sky, has just enabled me to do that so deeply and so profoundly, and to use my own experience of my own journey to assist people even more deeply with that, because that really has been, and it really resonated me when I felt it wasn't just like, oh, these are nice words. It's like, actually, that's what's happened to me in my course, and that's what you've taught me to do, and I want to be able to extend that to the people that I work with, because it's so important. And that's what we're trying to do, is come back to that love and to that strength and to that power and to that knowing that exists within us. And so that's what I try. That's what I do for people.
It's incredible, isn't it? I was thinking this morning as I was creating the marketing materials for you guys, right? And that there are 150,000 diseases diagnosed in Western medicine, 150,000.
Wow.
And it's amazing how, to progress in that model, things have to become more complicated as you become more advanced.
Mm.
Whereas for us, the more advanced you become as a master medical intuitive, the simpler the medicine becomes.
Mm.
Right. And it's this, the higher you go, the more it is a return to self, a return to creator, a return to love.
Yeah.
And there aren't 150,000 different manifestations of disease. There's 150,000 manifestations of fear.
Yeah.
Right. And you can spend all day analyzing and it still won't bring you home. So it's
Yeah.
exactly what you said. We can, and that's why so many courses are focused on what exactly are the belief systems that create the disease.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we're focused on that return to self. What are your wounds? What is going on for
Yeah.
you? What is your
Yeah.
story? What is your wholeness?
Exactly. Exactly. And it will be your unique blueprint, right? And you could have had a life that's very similar. You may have friends that have got similar thoughts and beliefs and upbringings, but you are you. You are you, and you have your own experience and feelings and interpretations and expectations and
And
the
meaning.
words that feelings, absolutely. And it's about unraveling those for you, that's unique to you and your own being and what you came here for.
So I remember actually speaking to you when I was interviewing you for this course, and I remember thinking how special you were.
Oh, thank you.
how much has this pushed you out of medical intuitive closet? Because there's one thing being spiritual, it's a different
Mm,
level coming out and saying, no, I do have the power to create, physically.
mm.
And have you, that's like, I'm really curious, how much have you managed to overcome that belief that you aren't that special, that you're just like,
Mm.
when you actually are extraordinary?
It's a
Sorry.
no. It's a good question. It's a great question. Um, it was a journey, right? Because it's part of the process that I've had to go through myself, which is looking at self-worth, self criticism, self-punishment, all of this sort of stuff to kind of get to that, to unfold that and to allow myself to become more and all of that I want to be. And so for this course, as I kind of went through the levels and as I kind of shed those parts of me, the courage that kind of came through and the faith and the trust, because what this course did and what this my own journey through this course did was kind of bring me back to myself and bring me back to the present moment, bring me back into my body, which I hadn't really realized how sort of separate from myself I was and how outside of myself. And because I've been able to kind of bring together and resolve parts of me that felt a bit all over the place, now I can kind of really own what I'm able to do. And it's very exciting. It's scary, right? Because starting doing anything different and doing anything new requires courage, and it requires to step out of that vulnerability and to walk through that vulnerability. But because I know myself so much more now, and because I think that I can own where I am, and having experienced what I've experienced through this course, I'm like, do you know what? This is who I am, and this is what I need to do, and this is, the calling to do this, to work with you. I told you in when I spoke to you that the universe had already told me we're going to work together, and I thought it was like intuitive anatomy, and I was like, oh my gosh, but it's like the summer, I really want to do something now. And they're like, wait for Sky, and I was like, oh, but anyway, then it turns out that you had this course planned for after summer, and I was like, there we go, trust, right?
Yeah.
And it was absolutely everything that I needed to do. It was everything that I needed, because it really did allow me to know myself, to attune the things that I needed to attune to become better, to step into this role. And it called to me. It just every part of my being said, you need to do this. This is who you are, and this is the next step of your evolution. And it absolutely has been. And it's been very profound and very moving. And when we got the certificates and when we kind of finished, I was like, I really just want to do this. I want to share this. I want this to be other people's experience, for those who want it, because what you created was phenomenal, and it needs to be shared, and it needs to be, processed and enjoyed in some ways, right? Because people, when you return someone back to who they are, it's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. And when you give them that sense of autonomy and sovereignty and love and knowing and power, there's such a beauty and such joy attached to that, even though it might be difficult to work through, but and so it's been a journey of courage, and it's been a journey of knowing myself, but with that support of everything that we work through, and the support of the beautiful people in this group as well. They are just, what a community you've built, really. The love and the compassion, and it's just been amazing. And that's been part of it as well. You created something very, very beautiful.
Well, firstly, thank you very much. Because I think I'm still dissociated from that. I've been so busy in the creating process and in the teaching
Yeah.
process that I
Yeah.
don't think I've fully embodied it yet. So it's still going there. And you brought up such a powerful thing, which is dissociation creating disease. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And how actually alien we are to ourselves, because we have this idea of who we are, but we're so
Mm,
disconnected
mm, mm.
that it's not just pulling those parts in, it's kind of allowing yourself the vulnerability of discovering new levels of what creator made you, right? And
Yeah.
who you're supposed to be. And it's exactly like, it's not your darkness that frightens you, it's your light, like Marianne Williamson said.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
brain goes into, how is it possible that I'm here to do this? Especially because you've grown up your whole life thinking you're not enough, and then suddenly you have these incredible miracles and these things that you have read about people doing as impossible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um so for you, when did it click that you were dissociated, even though you were functioning, right? Because there are people that aren't functioning, but most of us are functioning dissociated from ourselves. We're just
Yeah.
going through the motions. And what was the biggest thing you had to heal to reconnect with your wholeness?
So it was definitely going through the modules. And I remember being like, oh, this isn't, obviously we go through the modules. And I was like, I don't really know if this is one for me. I feel pretty of myself. Like, that's fine. Did the module and I was like, oh, good God. I was like, okay. Did not know that I was kind of outside of myself a little bit and not grounded really at all. And that was profound. That was big because I had no idea. I really was not aware of being so what I don't know what the word is, like, yeah, just kind of outside of myself, and that I was operating from a different perspective, and because that was normal, I didn't see it, right? Because it was how I am, it's who I am, and it's how I was. And yeah, so once I kind of did some swaps and I worked on it, and I kind of have landed, and this is one of the things has been so beautiful, is that I landed almost back in my body, right? I grounded, and that sounds not as like with a bump, but gracefully and lovingly and in a really nice way. And what that's meant for me is that I'm experiencing life differently. Because I'm grounded, but I'm also feeling connected, I've kind of got this balance going where I can experience life. It's really hard to explain, but I feel things a lot differently now. And because this is the place of manifesting as well, to kind of feel grounded, so you kind of get the ideas and then you take action on them. It's the place of manifesting. It's the place of being present. It's the place of being able to be grateful as well, because I'm so much more aware of what exists around me, and it feels very dynamic in a very loving and peaceful way, because I'm not giving so much of myself out to other places and other spaces. And so, when you kind of disconnect from bits, it's like an elastic, right? When you're connected to different things outside of you and you let them go, it all pings back to you. And you can then take that power back, and you can then reconnect with yourself in a much more profound way. And as a result of that, I feel so much more peaceful to look at why that happened, to look at what the root was of that, and to work through some of those maybe fears I had of coming, grounding properly and being fully present. And that also helped, because when I came to this course, I was just kind of, I had been going through a really difficult emotional and physical time. I was kind of in a recovery of something quite difficult that I had gone through. And the course started a week after I had gone through this, and I was sort of still recovering. And I knew that this was what I needed, not only for my own practice, but for my own healing. And it was able to bring me to a place of great understanding and love and compassion and forgiveness for what I had gone through, and to allow it to be, and to not forget it and pretend it didn't happen and to ignore it and to try and cope alongside it, but to sit with it and talk to it and be with it and feel it and process it. And through the people that I swapped with, who were so graceful, and I mean graceful with their love and their compassion, and through the process that you taught us, which is profound and moving and so deep but beautiful and loving, that I was able to walk through that. And I now am in that place where that piece is emphasized, because I'm no longer worried about who I am in context to that experience. Where I was angry and I was upset and I was thinking certain things of myself, that I can detach from that and see it from a new perspective. And I took myself out of that victim energy in a way, and was like, okay, how can I understand it? How can I see it? How can I accept it? How can I move on from it and resolve it and heal it? And that's what this allowed me to do, because that process just holds you so profoundly through that, and in ways that there's this container that's all around you. It's not just one aspect. You're held in this beautiful container. Yeah. That addresses so many components of what it might be that you're looking at. And so yeah, so it was kind of lots of different elements, and then because of that, then I was able to bring myself back down, and I was able to kind of then connect with these different aspects of myself and feel a lot more at peace, a lot more present, a lot more ready, a lot more peaceful, a lot more powerful, and to harness that and continue to harness that within me, you know.
It was one of the biggest reasons I made it a mastermind and not just a course or self-study, because I part of dissociation is disconnection and isolation. You
Mm.
know, and you add that to us all going through the COVID insanity and people really dealing with not just being disconnected from their local communities, but from their spiritual communities and their soul communities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
not having other people who, like I said, who have that grace to allow you to move into that space and this powerful connections with other women that really understand you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and we are so limited, like you said, about it, not just by, you know, what was happening in the world, but by our beliefs and by how where we can go when we're dealing with our actual other roles in life, like parenting, etc.
Mm, mm, mm,
So, you know, that was one of the biggest reasons, because a lot of people said to me, "Oh, you need to teach this alive." And I was like, one day,
mm,
right? But what I need is to get community, you know, fierce
mm,
feminine community, because, you know, that's where this started. We were the medicine women.
mm,
You know, it didn't come, with all due respect to the gentleman, it didn't come from that. You know, it came from the necessity, because we were the ones that were home giving birth. We were the ones that were caring for the sick. We were the ones that were there.
mm, mm,
You know, after the battle, we were the ones they sent in.
mm,
So it's very it was very powerful for me, even as a teacher, and I had to hold back because I was holding space. But it was
mhm,
incredibly powerful watching the way you guys not just grew together, but like you said, that grace, you
mm,
know, that fierceness
mhm.
and that acceptance. You know, there wasn't any crazy in our community. It was really like, you know,
Yeah,
profoundly caring.
yeah, yeah. It was, and I think to know that you could connect with anybody in that group, and to for them to be like, right, how can we help? Like, how can and to be celebrated as well, because you know we shared our wins as well, right? It was like sharing that progress, sharing that the changes, sharing the wins, and it was like let's celebrate each other as well, you know, because it's you know when you're working through difficulties and when you're working through your emotions and there's this stuff coming up, but it's also get about okay, and which is actually what the bit that I also love so much, which is also what else are you? You are also your wins. You are also, you know, you might be this, but you're also this. You're also, you know, with clients deeply compassionate. You're also, you know, not just the parts of you that worry you and scare you, but you're also other things as well. You're also creative and you know deeply intelligent and all of these things, and it was like let's see you as that whole, let's see you. And then so there was this lovely balance of celebrating the wins, supporting as we kind of went through and talked through some of those other bits as well that were heavy, and that was a really lovely foundation, and it was just brilliant. Yeah.
So what was your favorite bit in all of it?
Favorite bit. So my I really love connecting with the different systems of the body and talk and learning to communicate with them and talking to the different and seeing how they work together. I really love that because I loved biology as a kid, and so looking at kind of integrating that with the energy work was just it's just been really fun. But to expand that intuitive library in the sense that, you know, working with the different energy centers, being able to see the beauty that is the body in so much more clarity and detail and light than I'd ever been able to see. You know, when you kind of sort of start releasing that resistance and that fear, you allow love to kind of come through a lot more. And that came through being able to connect with the energy body and see colors and see the way that it worked with each individual, and to see it as a story, to see it as you know, to have conversations, to connect with it more deeply and uniquely. And it was just so lovely. It was just it's so bright. It's so Do you know what I mean? It's
It's so
just,
crazy, stupid, beautiful. Yeah.
it really is. It really is. And to kind of be like, right, let's just kind of see this, like let's look at the different components. Let's look at the different the factors. Let's look at the different areas and to see how it works in this beautiful synchronized way. Oh my gosh, like yeah, you're just kind of it brings you up, to see that and to kind of be like, okay, and to see that of my own body, when I sit and I kind of go, right, okay, so how are we feeling? Okay, this is happening, but okay, can we also bring in the love and show me what else is good? And yeah, it's so beautiful. And to be able to offer that to people, to be able to offer that to clients, and to kind of be able to say, look, this is this is how I see you, and do you see this of yourself? And if not, how can we help you kind of get there? And this is what I'm hearing. Is this feeling? Does this resonate? And yeah, it's high, it's augmented, it's expanded, it's been a really lovely process to awaken to that much more deeply than I had before.
It's
That was
such a
really nice.
powerful thing. And so many people, because they're in that consciousness of fear or even just criticism, go into the body from a place of what's wrong with you. And then it's exactly what you said. You see what you put out. If you connect with the body from a place of criticism, you will only see its darkness. But if you connect from an expanded consciousness, you see the insanity that you are like the most advanced technology ever created.
Yeah.
It is. I remember speaking to Creator about this, and because I really remember saying, how am I going to put this into words in a way that's going to allow people to connect with this and will evolve over time? Because the body evolves over time
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
beliefs evolve over time. So what
Mhm.
created disease in medieval times and the belief are very different than what is happening now and
Yeah.
what's coming into consciousness now. And it's exactly what you were saying, that the body is so clever that it actually evolves. So if you don't go in with love every single time, you won't see the new things. You won't
Mm.
see the miracles that you're like, that wasn't there yesterday.
Yeah.
What did you do? It's so
Yeah.
crazy how it does that. You're like, wait a minute, you just created something new that I haven't seen before. Wait a minute, what is this? Wait a minute, how
Mm.
did, and that curiosity is so delicious.
Yeah. It really is. And it's it's so moving as well, and it allows you to just kind of go, okay, let's just take a step back here, because when you see those possibilities, when you see that, it means you step into something with a lot more faith, trust. It means that you see somebody in a whole in a very different light, and it's and that's in the work that I do, I like to try and bring in those components. So it's like, so what would you have this beautiful big heart, so what would your heart say to these criticisms that you might have of yourself, and to kind of see that, because when you're ill, or when you're uncertain, or when you're tired, or when you're disconnected, that's the focus, isn't it? And we forget to bring in these other parts of ourselves and know that we are other parts of ourselves as well. And yeah, that's I've really enjoyed that. It's just kind of it's stepping into that a lot more. It's been really beautiful.
What would you say to people who are like me and you? They have a lot of commitments, but they know deep down that they're here to work miracles in the physical body. They know they've got these skills, but like I said, they might be scared of seeing the disease or scared of seeing the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what would you say to them to help them make that leap in consciousness and really step into their destiny?
Do this course. Do
Okay.
this program. Okay, so like, I hear you. I hear you. I get that. I get that. And I think part of this process uh, is looking at that fear, looking at that worry, building up that resilience, and building up that deep knowing of who you are and what you're able to do. I think that what this course does so beautifully is just kind of walk you through that process, but not in a way that feels scary or intense or really heavy, but just to kind of offer you an alternative perspective, a way of self-exploration, so that you experience things yourself and you go, do you know what, this is embodied further, this is integrated into me further, what our capacity is, what we're able to do, what is achievable. and to come away with that knowing, because as as you resolve things and heal things within yourself, and as you kind of look at things within yourself, and it frees you from just looking at things through that fear, and you're able to bring in that light, and you're able to bring in that love, and you're able to bring in that knowing, and you're able to bring in that power. And when your heart is calling to you, when your soul is calling to you, it's the universe telling you and whispering in your ear, it's now your time. And we need to look at this. And, the universe will guide you. The universe will support you. And it's also about you asking for that support yourself so that you can manage your other responsibilities. So doing this, you've got to organize yourself, like we were speaking about before, when you've got children and you've got other things and you've got a life and you've got you need to ask for that support so that you can honor what it is you came here to do. And the support that you will get means that you are not alone. You are part of a community. You are a student, but you walk alongside a lot of other people who are doing this.
A lot of other masters in the
a
same.
lot of other people, right? And you have people from all different, doing all sorts of different things, but we're here to hold each other and we're here to journey this. And like you said before, we don't do it in isolation. This uncovering, this unfolding, this remembering is all taking place as part of a group and a community. And so if you're looking to seek that support, then this is the container that will offer it to you, because you get to know yourself, know your abilities, know your gifts, remember them, and to be supported when you're ready to take that next step, because we will go with each other now. This doesn't kind of just end here. We've gone through this and we will continue to walk together. So it's really lovely to know that, and to have you at the helm guiding us. So follow it if this is what your soul is telling you. And it requires courage, but we're here and we're also part of that. And answer the call.
Thank you so much, my darling. Do you want to tell people a little bit about your website, where they can find you and they can work with you guys? I'm going to pop the link to her information below if you feel called or guided. Just so you know, it's going to be in the comment section. But just tell us a little bit about where we can find you.
Yeah, so I have a website, nataliegraham.co.uk. My name is just there. So all together with a H. nataliegraham.co.uk. I'm under Nat Graham Healing on Facebook and Instagram. So please reach out if I can help you. If you've got any questions, if you want to just have a little call first, I'm always happy to do that. So get in touch. I'd love to say hi and meet you and see how I can support you. So
Thank you so much, my love. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
I could not be more, not just proud, but curious to see what you're going to do, because you're going to do incredible things.
I know. I'm excited too. Thank you so much. Sending you so much love, Sky. Thank you.